Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about the complete wingback role in Football Manager, and let's get started with an overview of the role. The complete wingback is a player role that can be used in the fullback position in a back 4 formation, or in a more advanced position in a back 3. The complete wingback will stay out wide, dribble at his defenders, and get in crosses like a normal wingback. But he can also move centrally, looking to influence play in the midfield. However, they are still a defender, which means they will make key tackles while your team is under pressure. The complete wingback's attacking prowess means they can not only be one of the top creators in your squad, but also in the league you're playing in. And yes, they will get in crosses, but they make other types of plays as well. They can get into the penalty box to play square balls for teammates. Other times they'll hang back and play direct passes into open space. But what's a wingback without dangerous crosses into the box? When defending, this is one of those roles that I think gets a bad reputation. The thinking may be that this is such an aggressive role that they don't defend or track back or want their teammates to do it, but that's not really the case. This is a role that's part of the defensive backline after all. Here's a clip where the opponent has a corner and our goalie knocks it clear. The complete wingback is going to close down the ball, track the opponent into the box, and make the key tackle. And here, the complete wingback covers for his teammate's turnover. So the issue is not that they don't defend, it's that their aggressiveness can lead them to being out of position up the field, but we'll talk about that more a little later. In the next section, we'll talk about the wingback, the complete wingback, and what's the difference between the two. Let's first talk about the wingback and a complete wingback's positioning on the field. This is an example of when neither of them have the ball and we're attacking to our right. A complete wingback is at the top and a normal wingback is at the bottom. When the shot is taken, their positioning is almost exactly the same. And they're both going to get in crosses from out wide. This is a normal wingback, dribbling out wide and getting in a cross. And this is a complete wingback, dribbling out wide and getting in a cross. When defending, they're going to be very similar, and it'll be down to the player's attributes to determine how good of a defender they are. So yes, a wingback and a complete wingback are very similar, but there are two small but crucial differences between the two. First, a complete wingback has a scoring mindset, making more forward runs and looking to get in on goal. This is the complete wingback out wide. As the ball gets to the edge of the penalty box, he'll make a run to the front of the goal. And here, the complete wingback is out on the flank. He attacks the penalty box for the goal. The other key aspect that makes a complete wingback different from a wingback is their freedom of movement. This is because they have an important hard-coded instruction, roam from position. Roam from position is a player instruction that allows the players to find pockets of space to be more effective and, this is the crucial part, gives them the freedom to do so outside of your tactical instructions. This is the other difference between the two. When you have the ball, the complete wingback has the freedom to decide where to go. Here's the complete wingback, and when he gets the pass, he dribbles into the midfield to help with a scoring chance. Here he is with the ball. After the pass, he moves into the half space. But we see the downside to the complete wingback. When he loses possession, his position on the flank is exposed had the other team countered. When deciding which one to use in your tactic, you don't want to think about it like, should I use a wingback on attack or a complete wingback on support? You want to think about it at the player role level first, meaning you ask yourself, does my tactic need a wingback or does it need a complete wingback? And then you decide whether to put it on support or attack. So decide your player role first and then decide on the player role duty. So the last part of this section is my personal theory on the role. You are welcome to ignore it because it's not actually written anywhere in the description. It's just based on my personal experience with the role. And to begin, we need to look back at the complete forward player role video. In that video, I talked about how the complete forward is an amalgamation of the other strikers, meaning a complete forward has elements of the different striker roles built in. Well, I believe the complete wingback has the same idea, meaning it has the different fullback roles built into the role, and it can utilize different ones during a match, which is why it has the hard-coded player instruction, roam from position, giving him the freedom to do so. And it's namely the fullback, the inverted wingback, and obviously the wingback. The wingback is the dominant one, but you'll see the others sprinkled in and showing up from time to time. To show you some of this theory, let's start with the easy one, the traditional wingback. This is a wingback here at the bottom. As he dribbles and takes on the defender, note how close he is to the sideline. He's tucked right up against it. He gets in a cross towards the penalty box. Here's a complete wingback. Gets the pass, dribbles at the defender, sits tucked against the sideline, and gets in a cross. This is a traditional fullback on support. They are characterized by sitting deep and playing this type of pass, a diagonal through ball. Here's a complete wingback on attack. He sits deep and plays a diagonal through ball. Finally, we have the inverted wingback. He gets the ball and dribbles into the center midfield, a place where this role spends a lot of time. This is the complete wingback. He gets the pass and dribbles into the center midfield to progress the ball before moving back out to the wing. Again, those are just glimpses, but I do think a complete wingback showcases other fullback roles in their play, much like a complete forward. Next, let's talk about how to use this role in your tactic. When using a complete wingback in a tactic, you want to remember that this is a very aggressive role, meaning you want to think about the roles that are directly around him and balance out that aggressiveness. One of the best ways to do this is use a holding defensive midfielder, like an anchor, a defensive midfielder, or a halfback, with my personal favorite being the halfback paired with a complete wingback. We've seen this team before in the inside forward video, and it's now Tico in the 3rd division of Brazil. The formation is a 4-3-3 with a complete wingback on the left side. The halfback is going to drop when we're in possession and give us a back 3, which means we're going to be defensively sound as the complete wingback pushes up the field. The inverted wingback will move into the midfield to provide support as the halfback drops. The Metsala is going to exploit the half spaces, and the central midfielder on attack will be one of our primary threats. The 2 wingers will stay wide, and the false 9 will be a creator. One thing about this tactic is that I generally don't use a wingback and a winger on the same side because they can get in each other's way during the build-up. But a winger and a Metsala are a good pair, so I sacrifice a bit of player dynamics by using a complete wingback and a winger, but this allows the Metsala a lot of open space in the midfield. A complete wingback also has that freedom of movement, so it's not as big a problem as if I was using a traditional wingback. With the team instructions, a complete wingback can really benefit from a possession system. This is because it gives them time to make an impact up the field and use those characteristics special to the role. So my team instructions are the positive mentality, shorter passing, and a lower tempo, which are all used to help us keep possession. The distribution instructions help us build possession, and the low block will make the team a little more compact when defending. A complete wingback can be used on either the support or an attack duty, and if you're wondering which one to use in your tactic, allow me to tell you a story. Back around FM15 or 16, I started making my own tactics and learning about player roles. And back in those days, even though they made some changes recently, you could use a libero player role as a defend, support, or an attack duty. And I wasn't sure which one to use in my tactic, what's the difference between defend, support, and attack. So I was searching around SI Tactics forum for an answer on which one to use. And sure enough, somebody had asked that question. When using a libero, is it better to use the defend, support, or attack duty? And somebody replied, and I'll never forget their response. They said when I use a libero, I only use the attack duty because why else would I use that role? And I tell you that story because that's how I feel about the complete wingback. If you're gonna use this role, you might as well use it on the attack duty so you get the full benefits of it. You have to make decisions in your tactics around the role anyway, so you might as well use it on attack and get that extra goal scoring threat. Of course, that is just my opinion. If you want to use the complete wingback on support, they obviously won't be as aggressive, but you'll find them more aggressive than something like a wingback on attack. Now that we know how the tactic works, let's see how they interact with each other by doing a highlight breakdown. The play begins with our goal kick, and here's the complete wingback up at the top of the screen. As he gets the ball, you're going to see that issue with the winger. They're basically in the same position, but I take that trade-off because you see the space that my Metsala and my false 9 have. My false 9 gets the ball, and he's going to take it wide and run to the byline. The Metsala is going to stay in the half space as he moves up the field, which means I want you to watch the movement of the winger in complete wingback and how they use positional play as the ball moves up the field. The winger has moved into the penalty box, and the complete wingback has moved centrally into the half space. The ball goes in and it's picked up by the complete wingback. For our defensive cover, the inverted wingback is sitting in the attacking midfield area. Our center back has taken position for cover, and the halfback and other center back are the last lines of defense. The shot is saved, but that's still a quality chance. As we watch the highlight again, pay attention to how the false 9, the winger, and the complete wingback all end up in different positions from where they started. For some player examples, if you're using a top team and you're wondering which players to look for if you want to start using a complete wingback, I use my high floor, low ceiling philosophy. Meaning I would rather have a well-rounded player that's lower in some attributes rather than another player that has high peaks and low valleys. For example, this is Theo Hernandez at AC Milan. He's got elite off the ball, acceleration, and pace. But he also has low passing, flair, and positioning. His lowest attribute is 11, but his highest is 18, which means there's a wide range of attributes. A player like this would probably be better suited as a traditional wingback. On the other hand, looking at someone like Tsimikas from Liverpool, he doesn't have the same off-the-ball, acceleration, or pace, but he also doesn't have any required attribute lower than 13. So all his attributes needed for a complete wingback are between 13 and 16. This makes him an incredibly well-rounded complete wingback. If you're in a lower league like my team was in the 3rd division of Brazil, you're really at the mercy of who's on your team already. Meaning you could have a player that's really close, but he may have some low attributes somewhere, and that's just the trade-off when using a lower league team. This is Diego, the complete wingback I use most of the time at Náutico, and he's well-rounded enough for the role. His flare is low, and he has a contrasting player trait and hugs line, but there's always concessions to be made. Some good player traits would be arrives late in opponent's area, gets forward whenever possible, and tries tricks. Some not so good ones would be comes deep to get ball, runs with ball rarely, and plays short simple passes. If you use a complete wingback in a back three, the role is going to function exactly the same. His starting position is just going to be a little further up the field. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.